We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Surprise, surprise. The day Ryan Garcia pulls out of his Javier Fortuna fight, the WBC goes to bat for him, as well as his promoter, which more or less you would expect from the promoter. And they said they're supporting Ryan Garcia. This sounds like a setup to me, and I'm gonna explain why in this here video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for everybody who clicked on my link and ordered UFC 261 card. Using my link, I've tracked it. We did great. It was a great event. I did a Boxingego watch party. Crazy knockouts in the co-feature in the main event. Usman and Thug Rose, shout out to them. Appreciate you guys for using that link. Now, Ryan Garcia, quick recap. I made a video about this. This is exactly why you guys got to follow me for the latest and greatest in boxing. But I'll quickly recap. Ryan Garcia posted this picture. Caption says he's pulling out of the fight. It says, I know this news may be disappointing to some of my fans, but I am announcing today I'm withdrawing from my July 9th fight. That was a fight with Javier Fortuna. At this time, it's important to manage my health and well-being. I have decided to take some time off to focus on becoming a stronger version of myself. I hope to be back soon, and I'm looking forward to stepping back into the ring when I am my healthiest self. I want to thank God, my family, my doctor, and my supporters. Now, bottom line, let's talk about it. I told you guys that, first of all, this is Ryan's career and his life. He can do whatever he wants. But in my opinion, the optics of this look bad. You just announced a fight a week ago, and now you're pulling out of the fight saying mentally you're not fit. You know, here's the announcement. And now I'm starting to wonder if this fight was ever going to take place, because I did notice this. The day the fight was announced, this was the poster that he posted, and it just looks cheap. It doesn't look like a professional poster that you would really be using, or, you know what I'm saying, that it doesn't look like past Golden Boy flyers. It looks like almost like a fan-made flyer, you know? And it's almost, I'm getting a feeling like they almost went through the motions and didn't have an intent on fighting Javier Fortuna. Here's why. Let me talk a little bit more. So the day Ryan Garcia posted this, where he's saying, hey, I'm backing out of the fight, withdrawing, you know, and people are trying to be sympathetic because they think something's wrong with him, even though he didn't disclose specifically anything was going on. This is what the WBC said. Mauricio Suleiman and his verified page with the WBC president, this is what they said. President Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC offer Ryan Garcia our full support and endorse his decision to attend to his personal issues. We are now, as always, in his corner. Now, I was thinking about this, and I'm like, how is this fair that Ryan Garcia, this is why it looks like a setup. Ryan Garcia, if he has personal or mental health issues or sadness, depression, I don't know. He didn't really specify. But if he has things that he has to attend to, right, so be it. But how in the world is Javier Fortuna being treated like this, where the belt gets held up because Ryan Garcia doesn't feel well enough to fight, right? Shouldn't the rest of the world go on, right? Shouldn't Javier Fortuna, this is literally like the fourth time where there was a pullout. He was supposed to fight Jorge Linares. That fight was done, and then that got canceled because Jorge Linares, he said he tested positive for Rona. Ryan's now saying his well-being is more important, so he's not going to be able to compete after announcing the fight, a week after announcing the fight, right? Devin Haney his mandatory was Javier Fortuna at one point, and he got shoulder surgery. He says he wasn't able to fight. He needed to do some emergency surgery, so he was out for a few months, right? And the WBC is saying, hey, we are now always in his, it says we are now as always in his corner. When Deontay Wilder and people around Wilder accused Tyson Fury of doing something malicious in their fight, the WBC didn't say we are now, as always, in his corner. They actually said if you believe that, then you're just trying to hate on Tyson Fury and take away from his accomplishments, and it's ridiculous and you're stupid, right? But then there's this big sob story for Ryan Garcia. WBC, on their verified page, they continue. It says the Rona pandemic has brought unimaginable problems to us all, and he, like the rest of humanity, have been greatly affected. With Mental Health Awareness Month coming in May, the WBC will work diligently to reinforce its awareness program worldwide. So I'm like, okay, they're putting it on thick. They're talking about the Rona. He didn't even declare what is wrong with him. He didn't say like I'm depressed, and nowhere in his diatribe did it say depressed. So we don't really even know what's wrong with him, and it looks like they already have this whole story laid out. This is why it seems like a setup. Ryan's courageous decision, you see, it's like they laying it on thick. Ryan's courageous decision to step aside at this time. So once again, look at how it's being framed. He's being treated like he's like the Robin Hood of boxing, or he's doing some noble, heroic act because he had to pull out of a fight. So it doesn't look good for the WBC to publicly be taken, in my opinion, to be publicly taking this stance. And they're calling him courageous for leaving Javier Fortuna high and dry. And this is like the third, fourth, fifth time that Javier Fortuna has been dealt a blow like this and hasn't got a big name. And they're saying Ryan's courageous decision to step aside at this time has emphasized the fact that no one is exempt from the impact of this global crisis. But once again, how are you even speaking on all of this? And Ryan didn't even say what was wrong with him. He didn't say, he just said, I got to take a step back. He is very vague and ambiguous. So that's why I'm saying it looks like the WBC worked with Golden Boy and they found a way out for Ryan to not fight a dangerous opponent, right? We honor Ryan. Look how thick it is. Look how they're laying it on. We honor Ryan's choice as a champion of wellness and consider him an inspiration to others who suffer in silence. Nah, listen to how thick they're laying it on, and we don't even know what allegedly is wrong with Ryan Garcia and mental health issue. To me, this is a bad look, because not once in this whole dialogue is the WBC saying anything about a dark-skinned fighter from the DR, Javier Fortuna. They're not saying, hey, he's been dealt a bad blow and we promise we're going to do something. You know what I mean? And it says, when appropriate, the WBC will be ready with full support for Ryan's return to the ring. So basically, the WBC, apparently it sounds like you could just do whatever you want and their committee can vote on it and there's no issues. So when Canelo doesn't want to fight Jamal Charlo, just make him the franchise champion. Hey, we voted on it. When you don't want to rematch Sor Rungvisai and you want Estrada versus Chocolatito, you just franchise Estrada, who a lot of people think he didn't even beat Chocolatito in the rematch, right? When Devin Haney is supposed to get an opportunity, another black fighter is supposed to get an opportunity to face, he's supposed to get another opportunity to face a big name like Lomachenko, then you just made Lomachenko the franchise. Now Ryan Garcia has clout chased Pacquiao, Gervonta Davis. He's announced a fight, and because he's claiming, there's no receipts, there's no nothing, because he's claiming that something, he has to take a step back for his own personal health. This looks like people helping him to get out the fight. Now, I'm just telling you, I'm going to put it out cut and dry. It looks like the plan was never to fight Fortuna. It's a pump fake. It sounds like cap. You know, you already told the world you were going to knock out Tank in 2 rounds. Henceforth, this picture right here. And then you were talking about a dangerous fight with Pacquiao after the Tank fight. These both turned out to be cap. And you said you were going to fight Devin Haney, but you didn't fight him. So you can't keep doing this. You know what I mean? So it got to a point where Javier Fortuna, it's like you almost have to create a reason or a void or something like this in order to justify why you're not fighting Fortuna. And it sounds like they're trying to pawn they're trying to pawn Javier Fortuna on the black fighter Devin Haney. So Ryan, if he is ill or going through something, he needs to still fight Javier Fortuna. But more than likely, seeing how the WBC creates their own rules and, you know, ups the clenbuterol level to benefit certain fighters like Canelo, who failed a drug test, like Julio Cesar Martinez, and different people who failed for clenbuterol, and franchise champions and things that I've mentioned in this video. And if they try to just bypass, because Ryan's saying he's not in good spirits or whatever is going on, and they try to bypass that and then pawn Javier Fortuna off on Devin Haney, that's going to tell you that this was a setup, you know, because Ryan Garcia is still a fighter. You still have a job. You still have sanctioning. How is Ryan continually getting a pass, just like Canelo? How is this continued to work, right? Canelo doesn't have to fight Charlo, gets a pass, franchise champion. Ryan's supposed to take a tough fight with Javier Fortuna, and now he's being praised for being a heroic and courageous person dedicated to mental health awareness. So is that the latest trend in boxing, where if you want to get out of a fight, you could just say, hey, I'm going through a lot of stuff, you know, even though knowing a lot of boxers go through bereavement and all types of stuff. Tony Harrison just fought Brian Peralta, and a lot of people said he didn't look great, and his dad just died, right? Same thing with Jared Hurd. So I don't think it's right to allow Ryan to continue to be the WBC interim champion. You know, I know the WBC is their belt. I guess they can make up their own rules, but I don't see how, because Ryan Garcia is unable to fulfill the duties of his ranking because he doesn't feel good, or the stardom's getting too much, or pressure, or whatever's going on. He hasn't really said it. He just gets to hold up that spot. I think he should take care of yourself if that's what you got to do, and remove from the rankings and remove from the belt. But based on this, it sounds like the plan is to allow Ryan Garcia to bypass Javier Fortuna to get his life together or whatever's going on, and not have to be mandated to fight him whilst getting to keep his WBC belt. And they're trying to lay on this lifetime melodramatic sob story to do it. So Ryan Garcia, man, this is a bad look. Ryan Garcia, he was the mandatory for Devin Haney, right? But then he said belts don't matter, right? So if belts don't matter, the WBC should take the belt since he's ineligible. Look at Pacquiao. Pacquiao was just relieved of his belt by the WBA because he didn't fight all last year during the pandemic, and he hadn't fought since the Keith Thurman fight, and still hasn't fought since the Keith Thurman fight in the summer of 2019. So the WBA elevated Yordenis Ugas to the super champion. So if Ryan is going through, if he's the WBC interim champion and he's unable to compete, then how is he not a champion, recess, or removed of the WBC belt whilst figuring out his life? Listen, if you got to figure out your life and you need to see a therapist or whatever's going on, no biggie. Take care of that. But it looks like, reading these tweets, the WBC is just totally on Ryan's side and saying, hey, he's a hero and he's courageous and what he's doing is so noble. So we're going to just allow him to hold up the division and keep this belt instead of, and not once does it mention anything about Javier Fortuna and we feel bad for him. And that's the guy I really feel bad for, because this is literally the third, fourth, or fifth time where he's been robbed of an opportunity to fight a big name. Man, the WBC, it's like they just really make up whatever rules they want. That's what it really appears like to me. And I don't think this sets a fair precedent. It's like Konstantin Ponomarev with the IBF. He was supposed to fight Errol Spence. He ducked him for whatever reason. He ducked him. He said he wasn't ready. Okay, you got to remove him. You got to remove him from the rankings. And then they had Errol fight Bundu or whoever the person was, right? That's what should happen. So I can't tell you what's going on in Ryan's mind, if he's depressed or anxiety, or he didn't really say. But there's no way that, no matter how unfortunate it is, you should not be able to be ranked and hold a belt if you're unable to complete your duties as a champion. Like, this is not it's not the military where, like, when I worked retail, they have a military leave act. where if someone is enlisted by law, if they're listed in the U.S. military, if they go somewhere else and get stationed, you have to keep their job slot open and they can come back to that job at any point if they get deployed. But boxing shouldn't be like that. So you can't deal with the pressure. You have too much anxiety or too much on your plate. So you get to hold the belt up while you figure out life. You know what I mean? I don't think that's right. But according to what the WBC said, it looks like that's exactly what they're prepared to do. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Also use my link to get TUBEBUDDY. TUBEBUDDY is an awesome browser extension to help you make money on YouTube by making your videos more searchable, dealing with SEO, and just a lot of features that aren't packed into YouTube. I use it daily for videos like this. Listen, it takes money to make money. I start off at 0 subscribers like everybody. Now we're over 200,000 and counting. Consider TUBEBUDDY. Click the link in the description. Appreciate you guys for all the support. Regarding this Ryan Garcia fight, fallout and withdrawal, this was supposed to be the most dangerous fight of his career, at least to me. And then this is the one that conveniently he can't make. So I'm starting to wonder if this was a setup and this was the plan. They have no other reason. Like, what are they going to make him the franchise champion like Canelo? That would have looked crazy. And the franchise champion hasn't been received well. So it's like, how do we get Ryan Garcia out of the Javier Fortuna fight and make people feel sorry for him? Oh yeah, that's right. Tell him to post this, have him pull out a fight, and then paint him as a hero for doing this while keeping his belt intact while he figures it out. So again, boxing, this is why boxing is frowned upon and people look down on it, and it's going to stay a niche sport because we have inconsistent rules. Pacquiao gets stripped for inactivity in a global pandemic because he's unable to fight during a pandemic year, or he didn't fight with his senatorial duties and with the absence of a live crowd. So they strip him of his belt. But then it looks like the WBC is going to allow for Ryan Garcia to go to summer camp or group counseling or AA meetings or whatever he's doing, and he's going to get to keep his belt. He's the mandatory for Devin Haney, but he doesn't have to fight Devin Haney. Then he was going to fight a title eliminator, which was dangerous, which was still a good fight, but then now he doesn't have to do that either. So it looks like they're just trying to protect his stardom. That's what it honestly looks like. Golden Boy already lost. Oscar De La Hoya already lost. Canelo Alvarez. Virgil Ortiz had a super tough fight in his last outing, and Ryan Garcia has a big fan base, so it looks like they're trying to coddle him. And Oscar De La Hoya is talking about the health of our fighters is of the utmost importance here at Golden Boy, but this is the same person that sounded like he was drunk and high out of his mind on a Triller card doing commentary to the point where he had to apologize. So the health of your fighters is of the utmost importance, but you're talking about fighting in July, right? And you sounded like you were wasted on the Triller telecast. All this stuff to me is just a bad look. And it looks like there's something more going on as opposed to Ryan just not feeling well so he can't compete. We'll see in the upcoming months. We'll see how Ryan acts. We'll see if he goes to Canelo Saunders and things like that. I'm out. Holla at me. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TUBEBUDDY. I've used TUBEBUDDY for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TUBEBUDDY is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TUBEBUDDY and level up your channel faster. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.